Alrighty, now that I'm finally subscribed to WoW Plus, I'm able to do the revised rankings of the All-Star seasons, starting with, of course, the first All-Star season, which I think we can all agree is the worst one, as maybe the best All-Stars cast lost their opportunity to give us a great season because the season only got 6 episodes to work with, and thus the said queens had to compete in pairs. Due to this, you might assume that for the ranking we will have only 6 places. However, since the first and the second place of this season were not in the same team, and thus disrupted the team's dynamic, we ought to figure out a way to rank the queens individually. How are we going to assess who out of the team should place before or after their teammate when they both have the same track records? It's pretty simple. If and when the team is eliminated, the last queen that lip-synced and lost the lip-sync is second, and the one that was eliminated as, let's say, collateral damage is first. So imagine we have a team of A and B and then C and D. If A and C lip sync and C beats A, C and D are of course at the top, while B is before A. And for the top 4, Chad is first, Raven second, Chanel third for having a better track record, and Juju fourth. This is the score system in place, and with all that mentioned, let us begin. In the last 12th place is, of course, Mimi first. If you've seen my mistreatment of literally everyone in All Stars 1 video, you know that Mimi was not the first choice for the cast. She replaced Willem and then Fifi in the final cast, and it was obvious that none of the queens wanted to work with her. So much so that Pandora flat out gave up. Oh, and by the way, I won't be talking too much about these queens, as I've already done so in all of their respective seasons ranking videos, which you can check out if you want. Speaking of Pandora, she is in the 11th place because, and as I've already explained, she wasn't the one that lost the lip sync. She's above Mimi. Now, of course, we could argue that due to the fact that Pandora did give up and Mimi was trying to get her to actually compete, Mimi was more of a competitor, again, just for the fact that she was willing to put up a fight against the other teams. But then some people may disagree with that, so we're just gonna stick with what I already determined as kind of the way to go about it all. In the 10th place is Tammy Brown with a 1.5 PP score, 3 points overall, just like on season 1, and also just like on season 1 she was eliminated in the second episode. At least this time she did put up a fight in her lip sync against Latrice. Tammy gave us maybe the most iconic part of the season when she read Michelle for her incorrect critiques on the history of fashion, to put it lightly. I just wish more people would do something similar. You know, talk back to the judges. It may not be the smartest thing ever, but like, it's fun to watch. In the 9th place is Nina Flowers with the same score as Tammy. Nina is still the only queen that has competed on more than one season that we've never seen lip sync in a lip sync that actually carries weight in the competition. And if you believe that the last lip sync of the season matters, especially the one in season 1, you're very naive, but also very beautiful. Nina Flowers is the ultimate robbed queen of Drag Race, and she's a legend, but you already knew that. In the 8th place is the queen that screwed herself out of a win in not 1 but 2 seasons just because she was like, "Oh, Latrice is my friend," Manila Luzon. Because she lip-synced for her team in their second bottom 2 lip-sync, the one where they got eliminated, she, of course, is below Latrice here. Latrice is in the 7th place, her PB score and, of course, overall score being the same as Manila's. I must say, there were too many size-related jokes, let's call them that, for my liking, against Latrice on this season. Some that were even set up by the judges, and I don't know about you, but like, they should do better. In the 6th place is the first change from the original placements, with Jujubee. Due to her and Raven's almost constant bottom 2 placements, the 2 of them place below another team. I must remind you all that Jujubee likes long walks on the beach, big dicks, and fried chicken. As you can see, Jujubee, as she placed 4th originally, is now at a -2. Now, will she be the biggest loser of the season in this season as well? We shall see. In the 5th place is her partner and runner-up of the season, Raven, who here placed 3 places below her original placement. Tell me in the comments, if it were up to you, who would have won the lip sync to Dancing on My Own between Raven and Jujubee? For me, it's definitely Juju. In the fourth place is Yara Sofia. Yara is the only queen on this season that used that lip sync buzzer thingy, and because we know that due to her switching with Alexis, the two of them lost, and so because of their decision they lost, she's below Alexis. Who knows, maybe Alexis would have won the lip sync for her team had she ended the lip sync against Raven. I mean, probably not, because like Raven and Jujubee were quite pushed until the end of the season. We saw that when we got that weird ass double Shantae. But anyways, Team Yara Alexis' PP score is 2.75, and due to this, both Yara and Alexis have a +2 to their placements. And speaking of Alexis, as you can see, she's in the third place here. I really loved that moment when she stood up for herself and Yara, saying that they're not the weakest competitors because they just happen to speak a different language as their first language, and yep, I fuck with that. In the second place is Chanel. Chanel really got to shine on this season as opposed to season 1. Now don't get me wrong, she's shown on season 1 as well, but mostly her personality, not totally just for her performance. Here, both of those went hand in hand. I'm still baffled by why exactly she wasn't in that last top 2 with Chad. It did not make sense competition-wise, it did not make sense story-wise, it just wasn't a wise decision, is what I'm trying to say. And in the first place, as a winner should be, is Chad Michaels with a PP score of 4. All Stars was kind of made for Chad to win it, as season 4 was going to be won by either her or Sharon, and with Sharon winning that, All Stars was left for Chad. Even without the teams thing, I think she would have done really well, but I don't know if she would have won. Or rather, if she would have been able to outplay the likes of Manila and Nina. But hey, Chad won the season that we got, and we shall not discredit it, but we will violently ignore the existence of All Stars 1. The biggest winner of the season, even though all of us are losers and clowns because of it, is Alexis Mateo, ranking 2 places above her original placement. The biggest loser, somewhat symbolically, is Raven, who placed 3 places below her original placement. Now let's go over the notes, the small amount of notes that we do have. Episode 1 with the whole opposites attract theme. I mean, this episode didn't really have much of a challenge, it was just kind of like, present us the looks, and here are some pictures. We know that Team Jujubee was high. Now, it was a little hard to distinguish the safe from the low between Team Yara Alexis and Team Brown Flowers, but it seems that Team Yara Alexis got more negative critiques than Brown Flowers, so Tammy and Nina are the safe queens. In episode 2, which was the RuPaul Gaffin, one of the worst episodes of Drag Race. It just was not funny. Like, well, some parts, but no. So Team Chad is high here. They got the second best critiques. Juju and Raven got positive critiques as well, but more negative critiques than Team Chad. Juju and Raven were left with the bottom 3, but their critiques overall were not low-worthy. Episode 3 had that challenge that they did at the Hollywood Boulevard, but that's the best way I can try to remind you of it. And in this episode, Team Yara Alexis this time is low, and you know, in the previous episode they won the Maxi Challenge. Now, for All Stars 4 and All Stars 5, I did pre-season rankings based on the Queen's track records from their original seasons, so let's mention that here too. Of course, it's a little ludicrous to compare track records of Queens that competed against a different cast in different challenges with different judges at a different time, but this is just for fun. I won't do the whole ranking, we'll just look at a table. Yeah, nobody placed in the same spot. Just a note, Nina is over Manila once we take away the mini challenge points. As you can see from this table, this was a very strong cast, with 7 out of the 12 queens being in that 3 to 4 PP score span, with Tammy Brown being the only one that's below 2. As you can see also, the deviations I noted are not based on the queen's actual placements in All Stars, but rather the placements based on their track records, because we're comparing track records to track records. Nina Flowers had the biggest drop, having been the strongest competitor in the first 4 seasons of Drag Race, but then also the first 5 seasons, up until Bianca Del Rio in season 6 beat her track record, and then placing in the lower half of the season here, whereas Chanel had the biggest jump upwards on the season from the preseason. And that's it. That's the video. You can drop some of your unpopular opinions in the comments below about the season, but I don't really know if there are any unpopular opinions about it. Like, we all can kind of agree that it sucked, right? Also, I don't know when I'm gonna do that video, like, in 2 years. Who knows? Whatever. If you come this far, thank you for watching.